Hi friend, welcome to this yoga practice. This practice is all about yoga for runners. So this will help you to release tension from your hips, your hamstrings and your glutes. This would be perfect to do after a run or maybe on your rest day from running. You don't need any props or equipment, so we're going to get started straight away in tabletop pose. So you can come onto all fours. Have your wrists below your shoulders and your knees below your hips. Fingers are spread nice and wide apart, and then push yourself away from the mat here. When you're ready, we'll do some cat and cow. So as you inhale, tailbone points up towards the ceiling. Drop your belly towards the mat. Bring your chest slightly forward and then gaze up. As you exhale, tailbone points down, round your spine, tuck your chin in towards your chest and drop your head down. Really push yourself away from the mat again to open up through your shoulder blades. And then when you're ready, your next inhalation can bring your tailbone back up. Drop your belly down, bring your chest forward and gaze up. Exhale, tailbone points down, round your spine, chin to chest, and drop your head. And just a few more at your own pace. Moving slowly enough to give each vertebrae a little bit of attention as you move along your spine. When you're ready, you can come back to a neutral spine, back into tabletop. Push your hips over towards the left and then look back over your left shoulder. And then hips can come to the right. Look back over your right shoulder. So just stretching through the sides of your body here. Pausing if it feels good to do so. Now we'll make our way into downward facing dog. So you can walk your hands towards the front of your mat. Fingers are still spread wide. Curl your toes onto the ground. Lift both knees and then drag your hips up and back, finding your upside down V shape. You can paddle out your feet here, bringing a really generous bend into your knees to stretch out the back of your legs. And again here, if it feels good to just stop and pause, let the pose get rid of the tension from your legs. You can feel free to do so. Now we'll slowly make our way into pigeon pose. So we're bringing our right foot forward, landing it somewhere behind your left wrist, and then your right knee can land somewhere behind your right wrist. Your back knee can come onto the mat and bring the top of your back foot to the mat. So we want to try keep our hips nice and square here. It's tempting to just sit over to one side, but that's not really going to help us stretch through the glutes, which is what we're aiming to do here. So make sure your hips are square. Pull your feet towards each other and keep this front foot flexed. That's going to help to protect this right knee. To help you out a little bit in this pose, you could take a cushion or a yoga block if you have one and put it in underneath your right hip. So as we settle into our pose here, keep pulling your feet towards each other, and that will help to lift your pelvis slightly off the mat. Connecting to a few deep breaths, feeling whatever tightness you might be feeling. And just send your breath down into that area. And if you want to take this pose a little bit further, you might be able to come down onto your forearms. If your forearms don't make it to the mat yet, that's fine. You can always have, again, cushions or yoga blocks underneath, or you can just stay up in our original pigeon pose. And remember, if you are a runner, you probably are quite tight in these areas, which is fine. So just remember to be gentle with yourself. We'll take 1 or 2 more really big breaths in and out. And then when you're ready, we'll allow ourselves to break our own rule. You can sit over on your right hip. And then from here, you're bringing this left leg all the way around, landing your left foot over towards the right side of your mat. So don't worry how this looks. We're focusing on how it feels. We've come into cow face legs here. But from here, we're going to nice and slowly roll down onto our backs, keeping our legs as they are, and making our way into upside down cow face legs. And there's something you didn't think you'd be doing today. So you can either grab your feet if that's available for you. If not, don't worry. You might just hold on to your bottom or your top knee, just making this pose work for you. You might start to feel this within your left hip. So again, here, just finding that tightness, feeding it with your breath, and just letting the pose release that tension for you. If your mind has drifted away here, just take it back to your body, back to your breath. Challenge yourself to just concentrate on those 2 things as we hold this pose for a few more breaths. Now, wherever you are in this pose, we'll slowly start to unravel. So hands can come back down onto the mat, feet can come back, undo your legs. Spread your feet to about mat distance apart, and we'll just do a few windshield wipers here, dropping your knees to one side, slowly lifting and releasing them to the other side of your mat. With your next inhalation, you can start to slowly roll yourself back up, swing those feet back behind you, hands out in front, and make your way back to downward facing dog. So fingers are spread wide, feet are hip distance, tailbone points up, head drops down. You might take a moment to paddle out your feet again. And we'll repeat on the left side now. So when you're ready, you're starting to bring your left knee forward, landing somewhere behind your left wrist, and your foot lands somewhere behind your right wrist. So again, here we're pulling our feet towards each other, creating that lift within the pelvis, avoiding dropping over to the left side, keeping the hips nice and square. Relax into whatever version of this pose works for you. And again, here cushions or yoga blocks can go in underneath your left hip for support. When you're ready, we'll take it into our cow face. So you're dropping the hips over towards the left, Right leg swings all the way around, bringing that right foot over towards the left side of your mat. Very slowly and mindfully coming down onto your back, grabbing maybe your feet or your knees, finding a little bit of tightness within your right glute. Relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, relax your face, and really just breathe into this pose. Check in on your thoughts again, see if you need to take them back for our last few breaths. Whenever you're ready to release the pose, you can drop your hands and your feet back down to the mat, undo your legs and take a few windshield wipers again, dropping your knees slowly from side to side. And just squash whatever tension is within your hips and your lower back here. And once your knees are back up in the center, you can pause. Bring your ankles in underneath your knees and then reach your fingers down towards the back of your heels. Press your lower back down into the mat and then lift your hips up towards the ceiling. So this is a great pose to open up the front of your hips and also to strengthen your hamstrings. Try to push your chest up into your chin, and each breath in really expands your belly. Keep pushing your hips up nice and high. Just one more big breath in. And then as you exhale, one vertebrae at a time, slowly bring your spine back down onto the mat. You can send your left foot down towards the bottom of your mat and then extend your right foot up towards the ceiling. Right foot is parallel-ish to the ceiling and your leg is straight-ish. So it doesn't matter how it looks, we're focusing on how it feels. You might interlock your fingers here and just rest them somewhere along your hamstrings. Eyes can stay towards the ceiling or you can close them here. We're just encouraging our hamstrings to stretch open. So if your body is allowing, you might start to gently pull this leg a little bit closer towards your face. Keep extending that left heel towards the ceiling. And just breathe into whatever sensations are happening. One more breath in, combing any tension out of your hamstring. As you exhale, you can bring a bend into this right knee and land the sole of your foot onto your left thigh. Left hand can come to grab your knee, right hand extends up towards the ceiling. We'll take a spinal twist here, so we're stacking our hips on top of each other, to bring this knee over towards the left side of your mat, and you can release your right arm back down to the right beside you. If your right shoulder has come up off the mat, just reverse out of your twist a little bit until you can keep it connected to the ground. You can look up towards the ceiling, or for more of a twist, you can look over at your right hand. And just allow this twist to open up your hips here. Also stretching out our lower back, which can get compressed when we're running. With each exhalation, you might be able to ask your knee to go a little bit closer to the floor. Now use your next inhalation to come out of the pose back to center, sending your right foot down towards the bottom of the mat this time, and then left foot reaches up towards the ceiling. Foot is parallel-ish, leg is straight-ish, maybe fingers interlock behind your hamstring. Maybe you can pull this leg a little bit closer to you, maybe not, and that's okay. Taking it into our twist, when you're ready, bend that knee, sole of the foot onto the right thigh, right hand holds the knee, left hand reaches up. Stacking the hips, left arm releases back down to the left, left shoulder stays connected to the ground, and your left knee comes over towards the right side of your mat. You can look at the ceiling or look towards your left hand. We'll just relax into our twist. Use your next breath in to slowly come back out of the pose, sending your left foot out long, bringing your left arm back in towards your body. Let your palms face up and just allow all of your muscles to drop into the mat. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Relax your jaw, relax your face. You can stay here just soaking up the benefits of this practice. Or if you're ready, you can slowly start to pick yourself back up, coming back into a seat on the mat. Finding whatever way is most comfortable to sit. And then once you're there, bringing your palms together at your chest, closing your eyes, maybe bowing your head towards your heart, finding a really deep breath in as you thank yourself for practicing, for doing some good for your body and your mind. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed this yoga for running routine. I have lots of other videos that will help with running, and I'll leave those in the description below. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate that. Until next time, Namaste.